Onyx says this is coming soon, and of course they're talking about Goliath, their layer 1 blockchain. Now, nothing I say is financial advice. However, I want to give some context first when it comes to this, because in a recent post, Onyx, they said how built on Onyx, Goliath private instance with plans to merge into public chain on mainnet. Now, I'm not too sure about the grammar when it comes to that, but that's not the important part. The important part, in my opinion, in this post is that in the second section, they do mention how Goliath is coming soon. And that's what I want to highlight right there, because yes, it's true when people like to tell me that, oh, wasn't Goliath already talked about last year? Yes, but that's the testnet, right? They already did the testnet last year, which is, again, true. However, they haven't done the mainnet. So this is what they're alluding to. Again, the mainnet of their layer 1 blockchain called Goliath. Is it going to be the biggest thing out there of all time? Probably not. Is it going to be the best timing? We'll wait and see, but it doesn't seem like that to me as of right now, considering the sentiment when it comes to altcoins. But does that really matter for the longevity of the project? Not really, because if a project is doing things preemptively later, if the attention comes back in again, then it's a little bit more prepared, right? Because it already did the fundamentals and all the fixing, so to speak, and all of the kind of improving before the attention came in. So I do like seeing that when it comes to Onyx. Now, the main argument, though, when it comes to Goliath is that people like to tell me who needs another layer 1 blockchain for the world of finance. I mean, there's already something like Stellar, for instance, right? And Stellar is just way more popular. It's way more established, has more fans. Totally aware of that. However, does it mean that it can't compete when it comes to Goliath? I don't see why not, right? I mean, why can't it compete? It's like, for instance, is Volvo more popular than Toyota? No, it's not. But then it can still compete at least. This is my perspective. I mean, it doesn't have to be the best. However, as long as it's there and still competing, I don't see why not. However, when it comes to Onyx, sure, the charts are looking really bad, according to some people, arguably. However, to me, sure, XCN is around 48 times lower than 25 cents as we speak, allegedly. But you know what? I'm still dollar cost averaging once a month. So if the charts are low and I can dollar cost average and lower my average down, it's like, so what? I'm not going to complain about that personally if I'm acquiring, but this is just my mindset. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. However, at around a 9 billion market cap, which it would have actually at 25 cents considering the current circulating supply of XCN, like that's not even 50% of what Shiba Inu reached back in 2021 at one point in terms of market cap. Shiba Inu at one point reached around 40 billion. So this is like what? Just around 25% of that? I mean, it's not like that ridiculous, at least maybe. We'll see if there is even hypothetically an altcoin season. And keep in mind, XCN is top 5 in terms of popularity anyways, in terms of the space of global trade and finance. So it's already kind of established in that sense, right? It's already kind of done its thing. All it has to do right now is just arguably maintain a top 5 position, heading maybe hypothetically into an altcoin season. But we'll wait and see if it could even do that. But if we consider how the closest competitor pretty much that Onyx has is Zebic, it's not under such stiff competition in my opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Zebic, but Onyx just doesn't have that many competitors in my perspective that could actually kind of, somewhat stand toe-to-toe with it. Because, of course, Onyx is never going to overtake Stellar, Ripple, XDC. It's just not going to do that. So it's not really like a direct competitor anyways when it comes to that. But then Onyx is just way bigger than XPR and Swiftcoin. So where does that leave Onyx against something like Zebic? They're arguably like, either in that top 4, top 5 position constantly. So it's not like Onyx has that many competitors anyways. And Onyx actually has way more holders than ZBCN. ZBCN has around 90,000. XCN as of right now is around 140,000. Doesn't really mean that much because their market cap is kind of similar most of the time. But I'm just saying, that's just something I noticed. So I'm still staying patient. I haven't given up, and I'm still waiting for the Goliath mainnet launch. We'll wait and see. They say it's going to happen in Q1 of this year. Again, I'll wait and see what happens, but if they do launch it, I'll talk about it. It may not be the best timing. It may not really do much to the charts if it does launch maybe soon. We'll see. They do say coming soon, but again, we'll wait and see. But still, even despite that, this at least gives me some motivation to not give up on the project because they're still doing things, and I don't really see that many other projects still developing, but I still do see that here. So I do like seeing that, and I'll be sure to make an updated video if they do launch the mainnet, but I find it pretty cool that they even reminded people about Goliath. So I still like seeing that.